Welcome to Enlightened Evolution.
I'm Cay.
And I'm Christina.
We're here to discuss the ebb and flow of our soul's healing and transformation through self-reflection, choosing intentionally, honoring thyself, and following your inner guide.
Thank you for joining this safe space with us.
Good morning and welcome back to Enlightened Evolution with Cay and Christina. We hope that we find you well today. We are going to be discussing mindful dating. Obviously, Christina's married and not dating, and I go through my phases of when I want to date, and then I'm like, absolutely not. So right now, I'm kind of dating right now. It's been fun. Excuse my voice. I don't feel well. How are you feeling?
I am feeling great. I'm heading into my follicular phase, so my hormones are ramping up, which is great timing because with the shift of who our president is, I was feeling really depressed. And there's still things that I feel very strongly and very sad about, but I'm having a really easy time being optimistic right now. And I'm just really excited about things going on in my life. So I feel really good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
How are you? I know you're
I
sniffling.
don't feel good. I've been sick for over a week now. And I think it was the flu. I don't know. And then it was just a cough and all these things. But it's starting to be like depressing because I want to get out and I want to go do stuff.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the energy for it. Like it took everything just to like get up and take a shower today and like eat. So after this, I'm going to go back to sleep. But I've been
Good.
on Red
I appreciate
Note,
you being
as
here.
we've talked about, and I want to go to the Asian market and I want to go get some bubble tea. But it's like an hour away and I'm just not driving that far.
Yeah.
Not today.
When do you have to go back to work? How many days off do you have?
Thursday. So I'll have like, several days
Get
off to
some
just.
good rest in.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do that. And I was doing so good, like working out every day. So I might like do some light stretching, but yeah, I just don't got it in me. So yeah, dating in 2025 is a mess for most of us.
Yeah.
I know that you're Miss Optimistic today, but
I am.
That's good. That's good. So I've been on like different types of dating websites. More recently, I've been on Hinge, and I think that there's things that people need to like. I think you need to figure out like why you're even dating in the first place. Like, what do you actually want? Because
Absolutely.
some people like will have in their profiles, and I don't know what it's like on other platforms other than Hinge. I don't really remember, but it'll say like, do you want monogamy? Do you want short term? Do you want open? Are you dating multiple people? And like some of what these people say do not make sense.
Oh. Is open on there like as a option? So like
I think
people
so.
in polyamorous relationships can like put that they're in an open relationship.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you see that a lot?
No. I don't I think
Okay. I was wondering.
goes like with your algorithm. It kind of
Oh, yeah.
and so like what you're
What
looking
you're
for is what
interested
they'll show
in.
you.
Mm-hmm.
But I've made a couple funny TikToks about what men will put because I'm heterosexual, so I'm interested in men. And like the things that they will say, like in their profiles, is just a lot of it I've used for like entertainment purposes, honestly, the dating websites. But yeah, I think people need to figure out like what they want before they go on there because it's just like, oh, I'm just here, just like winging it. But I think that you need to like date with a purpose.
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, and I guess if you're just be honest, like if you're on there and you're like, I'm bored and I'm lonely, put that there so people know
Yeah.
not to fuck with you that are serious.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And so I think, yeah, I put like monogamous on mine and then like long term because I don't know. Like short term is basically just like, let's just hook up. That's how that sounds to me. And so
Mhm.
I have really no desire to like do that. But I've only gone on one date. And I think that's because I'm so picky. And I don't want to say judgmental, but like we do judge each other based on our profile
Mhm.
pictures. So I don't know, like the way I see it in my mind, the way that I want it to go is like if you're going to hit me up on this dating app within 24 hours if we're talking, like ask for my number. In the
Mhm.
next 24 hours, ask me on a date, plan the date. Um and when we meet, pay for the date. And I do like to FaceTime before I go out at least one time just so you can like I can get a better like feel for your vibe. But
Yeah, and make sure you're not getting catfish.
yeah, for sure. So that's how I want it to go. But I know a lot of people will like talk for weeks on end with people before they even meet them, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Like, let's
It's
be about it or
yeah, it's so overwhelming. Like I think it's overwhelming for women to get on these dating apps because well, if you're trying to date men, I don't know how it is in like another world, but it's like so overwhelmed. Like as the amount of messages I've received, and I don't even know how to filter through all of them.
right. Like there could be a great match in there, but just because you
Yeah.
have so much in there, it's like you might not respond to a message. Or like I know for you, like you like to focus on one person at a time. So like if you do go on a date, you want to give that person your attention, your
Mhm.
consideration, and so you're not going to be checking these other messages.
No, I really don't. And it's like also though, you do have to like talk to multiple people. I mean, just to see who you like and who you don't like, who you're like vibing with, but I forget. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if I'm talking to one person about one thing, I gotta scroll back through all these messages because I forgot what we talked about. Like, was that him? So that's equally like frustrating. It would be cool to do. I've never done like the sit down like speed dating, but that would be cool to do that because you'd have people leave like more of an impression on you. You know?
Yeah, I know I told you about this, the girl that I met that did this very intentional speed dating. I don't remember if I mentioned it on here. It was in Atlanta. She said she went to, it was like a speed dating, but they were doing, it was people that are, more on the spiritual wavelength, and they would do different exercises, each person that they met. So I guess the women would sit down and then the men would rotate and they would do different exercises. Like one she told me was the men would apologize for any wrong that had ever been done to them by men. Like, on behalf of mankind, I want to apologize to you for any hurt that you may have received or something like that. And the way she described it, it sounded amazing. I was like, yeah, that is, I'm like, hey, you need to, I wish they had this in Michigan.
I know. I think I might cry.
Right? Oh yeah.
That sounds sweet. Yes, I don't know. I've went on one date and that's the person I've been talking to. And like he did everything the way I wanted. Like I haven't asked him to do anything extra, like nothing. He just I don't know, like I feel like I guess part of me you do have to kind of tell people what you want, but don't tell them what you want because they can just tell you that that's who they're going to be.
Right. I think it's great to see who they are at first and see what they're going to do. And then, if that person has a lot of the qualities that you like, but maybe you do need a certain thing in a relationship, then I think down the road you can be like, hey, I would like this from my partner. Is this something that you
Mhm.
could do? And then you know that they're not just doing it to appease you and to get you hooked, because hopefully
Yeah.
you're already hooked at that point.
Yeah. There's just been so many horror stories too. Like I'm a true crime girly. So like did you hear about that girl like in New York that was dating like went on this dating app or whatever, and then he had some crazy story like, "Oh, I ended up back in my apartment. I don't have my keys. Can I just come back to your place and stay the night?" And like she let him. Which I'm
Mhm.
thinking like that sounds very unsafe. I would never do that, but maybe me in my younger 20s would have done some shit like that.
I probably would have, yeah.
Yeah, especially if I was like, really feeling this guy or whatever. So she ended up letting him come back to her apartment, and he stayed on the couch and she was in her bedroom. She locked the door. And then, like, in the middle of the night, he's like, "Hey, I need to borrow a phone charger. Can you let me in to get it?" And something just like felt off. So she didn't open the door and she ended up calling the police. And then she heard the police like come to the apartment and he answered the door and everything. And a couple of minutes later, the police were like, "You need to come out here and see your apartment. Like, come out here." He had the whole apartment wrapped in like plastic wrap and he was about to kill her.
Oh my
If
god. Oh
I
my god.
find the story on TikTok again, I will send it to you. But that was like one of the craziest stories I've heard so like recently about like meeting people on these dating apps. I just couldn't imagine like, I don't know, getting myself into some shit like that. But that is what I think about every single time I get on there, you know.
Yeah. And I know, like, share your location with your girlfriends, let them know you're going
Mhm.
on a date, like, have someone know where you are. Like, I hate that that's the world we live in, but it's better to be safe than, gosh, lucky for that girl, she caught that the vibes were off and called the police.
Isn't that so
Oh my
nuts?
god, I can't imagine.
I know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have my location. I'm like, "Hey, I'm going here with this person." I like to know, like
Jordan will be like, "Whose location are you?" I'm like zooming in. I'm like, "Where is she?"
That's
I'm
funny.
like, "Don't worry about
Yeah,
it."
that is so funny. It would be it like I know people don't like to give out their last names because there's some crazy chicks out there too, you know? But it would be nice to see someone's social media before going out, or if you do know them or you do wanna go out with them again, like, if you know their last name, like, if you can Google them and some stuff pops up, I think that's good.
Automatically look up their criminal records, honestly.
Mhm.
Like, we were just talking the other day about these guys, like, someone we know posted this
Mhm.
guy that she has, like, 12 different charges against him. Like, that is something you would wanna know before you go on a date with someone. And we
Yeah.
mentioned that other guy that I think we mentioned it on one of the episodes that I worked with someone that worked with him, and he was like, "Absolutely not."
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Oh,
those are the
yeah.
things we need to know.
Yeah, last year I was gonna go out with this guy on Match because he was a nurse that worked at another hospital close to us, close to me, and yeah, you told me, like, no, like, he was going through a divorce, he had domestic violence charges on him, like, absolutely not, and I would have never known just by, like, having the conversation with him briefly online. It's like, "Oh, okay, we're pretty compatible, we got kids, we're nurses, like, we have a lot in common, might be a good idea." Mm-mm. And I did end up seeing this
What's that
guy.
app that you ended up seeing that guy?
No, I ended up seeing
Oh.
him on Hinge this time, like, I saw him last year, and then I seen him
Oh.
and I was like, "Yeah, I got you, buddy." And I want like, a part of me, maybe in me, wanted to, like, talk some shit to him, like, "I know about you."
I probably would if it was me. I would match just to be like, "Listen, motherfucker, I know."
Yeah, right, but I was like, I don't got the energy." The app that I found is called T. Excuse me. It's newer, but I feel like it's growing quite a bit, and it's only for women. You have to confirm that you're a woman by taking, like, a selfie, but they don't post it on there. It's, like, kinda like a set up like a dating app type thing. You use an
Mhm.
alias name. Your profile, you don't share who
Mm.
you are or picture you in your profile or anything like that, but you can post men on there, and it's like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" Or I met him on a dating app. He seems cool. Does anybody know him? Is anyone else dating him? Or you can be like, hey, I've dated this guy for 5 years. He beat my ass. He's a narcissist. Like, you can put that on there. I've posted a few guys on there because people need to
Can you
know.
also like can you also like recommend guys? Like if you know someone that's like a good
Yeah,
guy?
some people. So I've seen like women post a guy like, "Hey, I just met him," and then other women have chimed in like, "Oh, I went to school with him. He's a great guy."
Oh,
Yeah, I'm sure you
okay.
could be like, "Hey, here's a great guy. You could date him," but it's
Like, hey,
mostly
here's my cousin. He's super sweet.
yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen anything like that really. It's more about just like, "Hey, do you know him?" or "Hey, here, stay away from him." But it's wild some of the
hmm
things that people will go through with some of these
I feel
men.
like that would have saved me a lot of grief had I had
Mhm.
something like that in the past to like do some fact checking.
Yeah. And a lot of women are on there just asking other women for advice as well, so that's kinda
Mm.
cool, and you can do, like, polls, like, I don't know, something like, "My boyfriend cheated on me, he promises he won't again, should I believe him?" And it's like, yes or no, or, something like that's a simple example,
Yeah,
but yeah, I find it very helpful. It's like just a community for women just to stay safe
I like that.
because
There's a
yeah.
there's a Facebook group for Atlanta. I think a lot of big cities have it, and it's like, are we dating the same person? And people will post who they're dating in there,
I
and
think
then
yeah, that's such a good idea.
it is. I wanted to ask you how you feel about, because you mentioned like, looking someone up before you do decide to meet them. You don't really have a whole lot of social media. For me in the past, if a guy did, like, I totally get the concept of not having social media for the mental clarity that it brings. Like,
Mhm.
it's great to disconnect from all of that. But in the past, sometimes I would see it as a red flag only because I had experience where a guy would be like, "Oh, I don't do social media." But in fact, he did, and he was in a full-blown relationship, but didn't want me to find his social media.
Yeah.
Does that ever like cross your mind, or how do you feel about that?
I do know that men can live double lives all the time.
Yeah.
And so I don't really take anything that anybody says like at like face value right off the rip anyways. So if you tell me, but then again, I don't know. I don't know. If you tell me you don't have social media, like you must have some form of social media. Like they certainly
To a
can't mean that.
degree. Yeah.
Yeah, they must be
Like,
on
what's
like
your LinkedIn?
right. And that's another green flag about this guy I'm dating because he has an Instagram and a LinkedIn, and he has
Mhm.
more friends on LinkedIn than Instagram.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, that's
That's
so
good.
cute." I know. So, at least a LinkedIn, like, and you certainly have YouTube, you know what I mean? Like, that's a
Oh,
form of
yeah.
social media for, like, consumption. So, I don't know, but then again, like, I don't really don't have any social media besides TikTok
Right.
and RedNote
And you're
now,
not
but
leaving
that's
a
in
double life.
China. Right, but I won't tell them, like, I'll just say I don't have any social media and I'll leave it at that because, like, a lot of things like, maybe I'll tell you later that I have social media, and then you can be on my social media because, like, I got my
Ah,
kids on there. Maybe I don't want you looking at maybe I just don't even trust you enough to have you on my social media right now. You could be some crazy stalker, which I've experienced that before. So,
right. hmm
you could make an endless amount of fake accounts and you could find me forever.
Now, do you feel like that would, I mean technically that's lying, right? So like, say at the beginning you tell them you don't have social media, then
Mhm.
maybe a couple months in of dating you're like, actually I do have social media.
For
Like,
sure.
I think they would be understanding, but do you think they would be like, okay, well, what else did you lie about?
I guess that's a chance I'm willing to take
Okay.
because I don't know. Maybe I could say like, "Yeah, I do have it, but I'm not gonna give it to you."
Yeah, I think that's a good, like, say I would like to get to know you more before, say I have like my personal life on there, my kids
Mhm.
are on there, and before I get to know you, I want to keep that to myself.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, just because I don't know, you don't you as you and I both know in our past dating experiences, like, sometimes you really don't know somebody. So you could still be with them for a whole year and you'd be like, "I can't believe this person did this," or
Yeah,
So,
that's very true.
yeah. What would you, if you were dating now in 2025, what would be the green flags you would look out for?
One of my husband's green flags was having cats.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I love that. I think a man that has a cat, and especially now, it could be like, so maybe you talk to them and they're like, oh, I'm extremely allergic, but I love them or whatever. If a man is like, oh, I hate cats, like they don't listen or you can't train them, that's a red flag to me. Because cats are all about consent. They do what they want on their terms. You are
Mhm.
there. If they want to be with you, they'll be with you. If not, you leave them alone. And so that just whole mental thing of like, oh, I only like dogs, I can train them to do what I want them to do and they can sit and stay. Not me. You can't train me what to do, so
Yeah.
no thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, having having cats or being cat positive, I guess.
Cat positive.
That's a new category on the dating app. I'm cat positive.
I love that.
What else? I think someone that can be realistic and like self-reflect on the roles that they have played. Like anytime you start to date someone, you always ask, what were your past relationships like? Or, I would ask, why did your past relationships fail? And if they can be honest about like the part they played in it, because it's never
Mhm.
one-sided.
Right.
Even if the other person was horrible, okay, well, why did you choose a horrible person to have a partner? Like there's always a part we play in it. So if you can have that self-awareness to know, like, I did this or whatever, I think that's really important too.
Mhm. Don't like play the victim the whole time.
Right.
Cuz we all like have past trauma from other people, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like for them to like talk about like positive things about their past relationships, like what was good about it.
Yeah. Like Jordan was the first person I feel like I've ever met that said very positive things. He's only really had one significant ex. But he just had very positive things to say. And like, if you're gonna, and I get like, not everyone is a positive experience. Like, I probably would not, my ex husband, like, I can't, it's hard to find a positive thing to say.
For sure.
So that might be a red flag for me, or I don't know, but it is good to be able to. I mean, you love them for a reason, so there had to be
Mhm.
something good about them.
Yeah. What about the
What green
profiles?
flags? Oh God. So I would love to be a dating consultant because when I was dating and swiping through profiles, and I know you've made some TikToks about this, the shit that people put on their profile is just like, are you trying to not get dates? Is that what your objective is here?
Actually, I'll read them.
Yes, please do because it's absurd.
So, I have the green flag ones and I'll do the red flag ones first.
Okay.
So, I mean, and maybe some women think differently about this, but I do think that men should pay for first dates. And I do think that you should offer to take somebody out on a dinner date. I don't want to do like dates as like the first date, let's just meet up for a drink. Let's just go to coffee. We put a lot of effort into ourselves getting ready and a lot of thought into what we're wearing and our makeup. And it just takes us longer. And so
Yeah.
if I see anything like Hinge is like the way to win me over, and then you're supposed to answer the question, it says,
Mm-hmm.
he said, buy me a coffee. I'm not doing that. And
No. No.
another one, he said, I'm weirdly attracted to dark eyes only. I just felt like that was kind of like a form of like, I don't know, like, do I want to say racism? I just felt
Like
like it was,
objectification of a certain
yeah, I just
type
felt
or
like it was like
ethnicity.
kind of rude. Like you only like dark eyes only. Okay.
I mean, he knows what he likes.
Yeah. Yeah. So this guy put my most irrational fear is midgets and people missing shit. I just felt like that's
Well,
super rude.
immediately, if you use the term midget, that's a turn off for me because it's a
Yeah,
derogatory term.
it's right. It's super rude. I was just like, this guy's a douchebag. Next.
Yeah.
This guy put a random fact I love is it will hurt, but that makes it sweeter.
Fuck no.
I know. I thought that was really just a big red flag.
Yeah.
This guy, he said, my greatest strength is rapping. Unless you're Marshall Mathers up in this motherfucker, I don't think so.
Oh no.
This guy said, dating me is like breathing. Okay, sir. Dating me is like a blessing. Dating this guy said dating me is like really good. LOL. Okay. At least this guy was honest. He put dating me as like a nightmare. So at least he's honest, but that's nuts. Another red flag that I saw, this guy put in his profile, I have a phobia of animals and dogs barking. It sets off my anxiety. People have been hurt and killed by dogs. It's like, why don't all these dogs like you?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like
Yeah.
that. I've seen guys put stuff on there. Oh, another one that I saw kind of recently. It was like, why? He's like, why say no when you could say yes? Your world will open to so many more possibilities if you just say yes. It's like,
Say yes to what?
I know. And it's like, no is a complete sentence. No is a boundary. Like, do you already disrespect the fact that I say no for something? It was just really weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
So when you say like be a consultant for like the date, like men setting up their profiles for dating apps, I think that like when I got on there, that's what like I really wanted to do. Like just set up my profile like, hey, I'm not here to date, but if you would like help setting up your profile so you can actually get a date because we judge you harshly on the
Yeah.
things that you say.
Absolutely. My, I need to review my cousin's dating apps because he always tells me that he's having trouble like meeting people, and I've never looked through his app with him. No, I think he did show me one time, and I did give him a little bit of pointers. I don't, maybe there is girls that like a picture of you holding up a fish. I don't know any, but probably don't put a picture of you holding up a fish.
No, any form of hunting period. If I see a dead animal in your profile pictures, I'm swiping the other way or however the rules are to get you off my feed. There was another
Hmm.
guy on there with like 20 dead alligators that he like hunted down and I like reported it. Cuz I'm
Oh
like
my gosh.
there yeah, I was like this is disturbing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to see, even if that's like a hobby of yours. I mean, I guess maybe I need to see it to know that I'm probably not going to have anything in common with you, but it's just a
Yeah,
weird thing to put on your profile.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I think men think that they look more masculine killing things, but like to me you don't. I don't know. And I also don't really like the taste of venison or wild
I don't
game.
either.
I hardly eat meat, so ugh.
I have a alligator though. It's not something I eat normal. I like
I've
it was one
tried
thing
it.
like I tried it once. And people say it tastes like chicken, but I think it tastes like pork.
It was fried and I dipped it in ranch, so I mean it tastes like
You're right. It just tastes like fried meat.
yeah, typical American meal.
Really.
Some of the green flags I saw of things that men had said, things that men have said. This guy said, "I recently discovered that I have a lot to learn.
Oh yeah.
My greatest strength
Love
is
that.
yeah, my greatest strength is being an active listener.
Ooh, okay.
Together we could do main character shit everywhere we go." I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
And 2 guys I came across, and I don't remember who these guys are. I just like some of the shit that they say, but unusual skills, beekeeping, and a life goal of mine, beekeeping. These were 2 separate men. And like beekeeping, we need
Wow.
all the bees. So I thought that was a green
Yeah,
flag.
absolutely.
This guy said his unusual skill is I can build you anything, and I do mean anything. You want 8 closets, you'll probably get 9. Perfect.
Immediately, yes.
Yeah. This guy said, I recently discovered that journaling is so effective in making me a better person.
Oh my God,
I
that's super
know.
sweet.
I know. This guy said, my greatest strength is my inner ability to shut off the inner monologue and be present in the moment. I especially enjoy this when put in nature, whether on a hike or just out for a drive on the countryside. I thought that was sweet.
Hmm,
Yeah.
that is.
This one said my self-care routine is reading, breathwork, meditation, weightlifting, walking, eating clean mostly, supplements, cold showers, sauna, fresh air, positive affirmations, and being creative. See, I think there's just a big
Hell
difference
yeah.
in like the men that'll go to therapy and the men that don't. And I think a lot of these men that have these really healthy, well written, put together profiles, they probably have had some therapy.
Absolutely. And it's funny that they're all together on one app and it's so like obvious the
Oh
difference. But
yeah.
like you can spot it immediately.
Yeah. This guy said this year I want to get closer to God and my family. That's great. The one thing you should know about me, I just thought this was funny. I'm a solid 6, but I'm emotionally available and stable as fuck. I like it.
Love of self-aware king.
Yes. My simple pleasures are just sitting quietly with someone who also enjoys to sit quietly. I love a man that knows how to be quiet.
Hmm.
This guy said, my greatest strength is my ability to swallow my ego and learn/grow from the situation. Positivity breeds positivity, and gratitude affects my attitude. I have found my passion and my life purpose in helping others and see the beauty inside themselves. I thought that was sweet.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
know. So those are just some examples of the good and the bad, I suppose. The red flags and the green flags.
Yeah. How do you think you implement discernment as you're dating? Like we kind of talked about red flags and green flags, but
The
is it just in
eyes,
knowing?
their eyes.
Oh.
There was this YouTube video I watched once, and it was a YouTube video or a TikTok. It was something, and they had people, like pictures of people on there that were like clinically like psychopaths, sociopaths. And before they even revealed if the person was or wasn't, like you could almost guess just by the look in their eyes.
I
And
think I would be good at that.
I was good at that. And so when I started online dating, I implemented that lesson or that rule into weeding them out. It's funny because on that T app, all these women that put on there like this guy did this to me, this guy's a narcissist, he's abusive, like all these guys got something weird about their eyes. It's like I don't want to say there's no soul in them because I don't know how like accurate that is, but there's just
Hmm.
something about their gaze that it's like they're looking through you and they're not like looking at you, if that's I don't know, a way to put it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's wild. So I go by that. And also if you're taking like if you're at the bar with 6 of your buddies, I don't know I just keep on going. I don't know who the fuck you are.
Right. Don't post the group. Like some will have all group photos and it's like,
Yes.
who are you? Which one?
Or just like silly stuff like putting emojis over other people's faces. Like, okay, you can't just find a picture by
They'll
yourself.
post pictures with obviously like an ex-girlfriend or
Yeah,
something.
and just like crop her out. I'm like, that's just tacky.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I don't know. I guess I try to choose somebody that's put the same amount, like level of effort that I put into my dating profile. Because we kind of like attracts like. So,
Yeah.
I try to look at the things like the big things. Like, do they have kids? Do they want to have more kids? I don't care if they don't have kids, but if they want more kids, I'm not doing that. So I'll just like, even if they have a great profile, really good looking or something, we could be compatible, but we're not if we don't
Yeah,
want
that's a
those
big
things. Yeah.
decision point.
If somebody says on there that they're conservative as their political view, I'm lean more towards like liberal side of things, even though I have some conservative views, but I'm just not going to date someone that's like super conservative. Dogs, guys with dogs. Not that I don't love dogs, but like honestly, I didn't choose anybody with a dog. I think my last relationship just like dogged me right out. I love animals, I love
Yeah.
dogs, but it's like, okay, that is your baby. Any pictures with guys with dogs in their bed, especially, like absolutely not.
No.
What else? I don't know, certain career paths.
I have some career paths that are red flags for me. What are yours?
Police, anything
Yep.
military,
Yep.
firefighters.
Yep.
What else? That's pretty much like the main ones. I know like nurses and doctors get bad raps, but I'm a nurse,
Yeah.
so I understand. I don't know, so I guess we could make bad decisions together, but so I don't want to judge that. You know what I mean? Construction workers, unless like you own the business, like I don't want to date you. And I know that's probably
Hmm.
that's not very nice, but that's just my preference.
Yeah.
Just because I just know like from previous experience dating construction workers that a lot of times you don't have work depending on the season, and if I ever like fell in love with you, I wouldn't want to ever have to fully support you in any time. Like if we were married and you got sick or something, that's something different. But
Hmm.
when it comes to like financial stability, I'm not supporting you.
Yeah. I guess, and I think with the public servants, it's just statistics. Statistically, police are very prone to domestic violence.
Mhm.
It's just the facts. I know of so many firefighters that are cheaters. They spend that
Same.
24 hours in the shop and they bring whoever up to the fire department. They
Yes,
got
they
beds up
do.
there.
I've dated one, I promise. They do.
Yeah, so it's just experience and preference that we kind of know not to mess with that. My experience with military too is that they're abusive.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's a generalization, but when you've had enough bad experiences with something, you just tend not to choose that anymore.
Yeah. The guy that I dated that was in the military, like his PTSD gave me PTSD. So
Yeah.
thank you for your
And that's
service,
sad
sir. I
that like,
can't be with you though.
we met a couple the other day and the husband was post-military, spent 20 some years, and they're very liberal, and I thanked him for his service and I thank everyone for their service, not in a way of like, yeah, protect America, go kill people, but in a way of like, I understand that serving in the military probably has seriously fucked you up. And I thank you for that dedication of yourself. I mean, it's a sacrifice to, I don't think enough people know how much it's going to fuck them up when they go into
Mhm.
it, but like, thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sacrificing your mental health.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
What What were you going to say?
I say we love our veterans. My sister's a veteran,
Hmm.
but from a dating perspective, I know that depending on where they did their tours and what like branch and what year they served, um, a lot of them are,
What their position was. Yeah.
yeah, which is like that book, The Body Keeps the Score. It touches a lot on,
Veteran mental health.
mm-hmm, yeah, which I get it.
Yeah,
I
he did a
just,
lot of research with that.
yeah, I just couldn't take the chance of like subjecting myself again to somebody that was in the military.
Yeah. So I was looking at advice for dating, and one of them said to kind of let go of the outcome. Like definitely going into it with a mindful, like what I expect from dating is a long-term monogamous relationship, whatever you're looking
Mhm.
for. But do you practice anything like going into it with intention, but kind of, I feel like in the past, because of my anxious attachment style, if things weren't progressing the way I thought they should, then I would be clinging to like, okay, well, is this going to work out? Or is this the right relationship for me? And I didn't do a good job of practicing of like letting it flow and letting it go where it goes. How do you feel about that?
I think that I used to have more of an anxious attachment style, and especially depending on who I'm dating. I've in the past I was kind of like a chameleon to them, but now I think I've done so good at letting go of attachment. Like, of course, go into it with an open mind and with your own intention, but if you come to find out that you're just not in alignment with this person, that's okay because there's 500 more people on this dating app that you could go on a date with. And,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, so I've done really well. I think now I'm not having like that attachment. So it's easier for me just to let people go. It's probably too easy. And that's something I've been like working through because I'm just so quick to be like, oh no, absolutely not. Like it's
Yeah.
it's harder now for me to give people grace because of how much grace I've given in the past that now I don't wanna take the chance, like, first red flag, I'm out, which
Yeah.
probably isn't fair, but it's it keeps you safe though, I think. Like, what would you rather do?
It
Would you rather,
does.
like, be out, like, first red flag or, like, let them build up and get more attached, It's like, that's hard.
Absolutely. And you're right. Like after being burned so much in the past, why stay around and get to the point where now you're attached and you keep ignoring these red flags or always seeing the good in them? I absolutely I get that.
Mhm.
And you're strong in yourself and you're happy alone. Like you're fine being alone. So I think that is key really when you go into
Mhm.
dating is be happy being alone. And one of the things I think we didn't mention is be who you would want to date. Like if you're expecting certain aspects in a partner, like if you're expecting a partner that's self-aware, that's, doing the work, also be doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, yeah, I am content alone. But then also I sit back, I'm like, "Is it really this healthy to be this content with being alone?" So I'm like, "Oh, let me jump on here and connect with somebody," but I don't know. We're all just trying to figure it out, you know, and it's so different dating now, I'm sure, than what it was back in the day. A
Hmm.
lot of things factor into that. Like we don't need men for financial stability anymore. A lot of women don't really want to have kids as much as they used to. So we're a little bit more content and we prioritize our mental health more than I think that like what the past is. So people are like, "Oh, like I want an old school traditional relationship," but do you really? Like because you can't, like, a lot of men can't afford one on their own, you know? So how so, like, when I see men say that in these dating app profiles, it's like an old school traditional relationship to me is like the woman stays home and she's a stay-at-home mom and she bears the labor of the household and the emotional stability of the home, and then the man provides financially, but, like, they can't do that, but they're also not willing to take up the burden of the chores and, you know, watching the kids or putting the kids to bed. So it's like, you know,
You got to pick
there
something.
there's no balance. There's not a, like, a healthy
Right.
balance within a lot of, like, relationships that are conservative and traditional, so to speak, because all the
Hmm.
weight is put on the woman. And that just doesn't,
Yeah.
like, I've experienced that before in my early 20s. Like, I would never choose that life again, ever.
Yeah.
I'd rather just do it all alone, you know?
Right. Have you ever seen that movie, I Can Do Bad All by Myself?
Oh, that sounds
It's
familiar. I
got
think I have.
it's got Medea in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I
And
have.
her husband's like rich, and then he ends up in a wheelchair. And I love that movie. It's so
Yeah.
empowering.
Yeah.
That and the movie Enough with Jennifer
Oh, I've
Lopez.
seen that movie too.
Those.
That was a really good one. That's an old one.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was good.
I love those. But that's always been my motto too. Is like I can do bad all by myself. Like if we're gonna be together and it's gonna fucking suck, I can have a shitty life. Actually, I can have a better life by myself.
Yeah,
Like if we're gonna do bad, I'd rather be by myself.
for sure. For sure.
What else you got for us?
Nothing really.
We'll be expecting updates from your
Okay.
dating life.
It's just the little things. I'll say this one last thing about something that he did. So I think earlier you mentioned, like, this anxious attachment thing, going into these relationships. Like, I just kind of sit back and I'm not going to be chasing anybody. Um, and so, for anything, like, I won't ask for any, I'm not going to ask you for anything. I'm just going to sit back and kind of, like, let you do your thing and see, like, how this goes. So I was at work and he knew I was sick, and he's all the way over in India right now with his family, which is like a 12, 10, 11 hour difference or something like that. So when it's night there, it's daytime here, and I'm working and I'm sick, and he's like, "I'm going to send you lunch tomorrow." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." So tomorrow comes, it's like 11:30, and I'm working. He's like, "Hey, just so you know, your DoorDash it's on its way." So I didn't have to say nothing to him about anything. He told me he was gonna do something. He did it, and he's up at, like, 3 o'clock in the morning to be able to do this for me, and I didn't have to tell him anything, and he's just, like, picked something he thought I'd like, and it was just there. It just showed up. So I just felt like that was so much effort, and it was so sweet, and it was, like, maybe such a little thing, but it was, like, huge. Just, you're
Yeah.
in another country right now with your family. You certainly don't need to be focusing on me, like,
Hmm.
but it was a very kind gesture.
That was super sweet. Super
Mhm.
sweet. I love that.
Yeah.
So take some notes, boys
Yeah,
that
I
listen.
know. I know. And so, I don't know, like, no one's ever sent me anything at work before, I don't think.
Do
Not
you guys have to
DoorDash.
pick up your DoorDash in the emergency department?
Yeah.
I saw TikToks of people being like, I've never seen the emergency department except for when I had to go pick up my DoorDash, like med surge or whatever. And when I
Yeah,
was given a tour of our emergency department the other day, they've now got a table out there and they've labeled it DoorDash deliveries. But I'm
we
like,
do.
all these people coming in the ED could certainly just snatch up somebody's DoorDash.
Ours, because of where I work at, is in so the security office in the ER is where DoorDash drops it off so no one can steal our food, and the security guards make sure that our names are who's picking it up, which is
Oh,
really
I bet
nice.
security loves that they've added that to their job description.
Right.
Ours is right outside the security's office, but I don't believe they like handle anything. It's just like right outside their door. So maybe it's
Mhm.
like hoping that you won't steal it because you see that security is right there, but I'm
Yeah.
sure people still steal it.
Yeah.
I think about that when I go to stores and pick up to-go orders. I'm like, anyone could just come take this.
I know.
Like if I was hungry, if I was starving, if I, like if I, that's something you could do. I mean, I'm not telling anyone to go do it, but the option's there, I guess.
I'll keep that in mind.
Like if you were unhoused or something, that is, I don't know.
For sure.
You got to do what you got to do.
You have anything else for us, my dear?
No, I don't think so.
All right, everybody. Happy mindful dating moving forward. If something feels off, it's off. Don't be going out with these bums, these low vibes.
Dusty, musty, crusty.
That's what my kids say. That's funny.
I heard it on TikTok.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening this week. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, rate us on your favorite podcast app, and share us with somebody so that we can continue to grow our audience. Have a great week.
Yeah. Catch us on YouTube. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.